Good afternoon, everybody. This is Duffer One here with the Duffers Review. We are live, and we're going to be talking about a couple of major subjects in golf that went down this week. But before we get into the one that we all know we want to talk about, let's talk about the RBC Championship, because there's a lot of stuff here that has led up to multiple different things that kind of went down in golf this week. Currently, this week, as it sits right now, the RBC Canadian Open, two-time defending champion Rory McIlroy went into press conference this week for the first time saying really not looking, for it. I think this has kind of played a little bit into his play this week at the championship. He's sitting right now tied for 12th. However, that is only looking at his score here, 3 strokes out of first place. So there's a lot of movement yet to be had here on the board. What is also really, really exciting about this week, and it is, as you heard, and we're going to get right into it and talk about it, is the PGA Tour merger. Since we're going to be talking about LIV and the PGA, Tour merging together, I had to bring in some secondary voices for this. All right, so as you all know, you've seen them before here. One of the other Duffers that have come out, multiple times here, Magic the Stream. Kendall, welcome to the 19th hole. Also, we've got our rival at the moment right now. Out here at Pick'em Pros, Derek Thompson's in the house to be talking about today's subjects. And gentlemen, we're going to get right into it, because this is probably the one of the biggest news since LIV said they were, officially starting their tour. Let's just right out of the gate. What were you doing Tuesday? How'd you hear about it? Kendall, how'd you hear about it Tuesday? Where were you?
Honestly, I didn't hear anything until the evening, and I threw on the TV. I was busy in Texas, moving stuff around the backyard. I hop on with the TV. I poured an old fashioned. And I'm like, what is this LIV joins PGA crap? And Nancy started laughing, and Nancy doesn't even watch golf, but she had followed all that stuff because of me. And she's like, good for them.
Oh, so the wife going, Derek, how about you? Where were you? What were you doing?
I was working. I got a text from Aaron, our video guy, and I knew it was legit because it had ESPN on it. And I hadn't clicked on it, but I was like, oh, man. So I was tripping and just thought, wow, I know the guys that didn't go got to be really pissed that they turned down $100 million, $1 billion.
So here's what's, and I'm glad you guys decided like this. What do you guys know about this merger?
Yeah, I mean, I've been reading up on it. I just read actually a few minutes ago that it looks like they're trying to make it to where the guys the prominent players that did not go to LIV will have some equity stake in the new for-profit league that the PGA is going to create. So it looks like they're trying to make sure that they're compensated. I know the LIV guys are saying that LIV or LIV, whatever, that they're going to remain around. But of course, we heard Rory say that it won't, and he hopes it won't. So that's interesting. I've got a lot of opinions on that. But yeah, that's the extent of what
I think you know why I think that happened, and that happened so quickly without the players even knowing, like they're all just shocked, was because Brooks won that tournament. And think about the ratings. So many people chimed in to watch that because there was LIV golfers coming in, and they can't keep them out of those majors. Yeah. So they're always going to come into those. So if that's going to be their highest revenue stream and the highest viewers, they might as well find a way to merge.
So it's interesting that you guys are both looking at this, because Tuesday it came out for me, and I was laying on the couch, saw it, and I was like, whatever, this has got to be, spam or whatever. This is a hike, and then as I clicked into it, and just to Derek's point, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. This has got like CNN. This is like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then I started moving through, the webs. It was like, oh, this is for real. But I was going to jump on. I saw Barstool jump right online. I saw a bunch of, people jump right online. Oh my God, screw it. This, that, Phil wins. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to jump on that bandwagon just yet. I'm going to wait for the 19th hole. And that was Tuesday. So that gives me some time to actually listen to see what actually went down. LIV and the PGA didn't merge. That was the best marketing. What can you splash on screen to create the hype it created, right? It actually was what do they call it?
It's a partnership. They partnered.
PIF. So they created a new umbrella. And the umbrella is LIV is still its own tour, right? And PGA still has its own tour. And the DPA, was it the DPDF tour or whatever, if they're all still the world tour, they're all their own tours, right? They're not merging, right? They're not merging like this. They are now being managed on the commercial side, for profit side, to do this, because PIF is going to inject more and more money into golf. So I don't know if you guys saw Rory's interview, his pre-interview before the tournament and everything like this, and he made kind of some very, very strong points. So why I was crazy excited to get you guys on here and get you guys' information, insight, is because he even came out and said this isn't a merger, right? And it's better for golf. He goes, if somebody's going to spend $2 billion to put it into it, I would rather control it than work against it. And what it did is it also allowed it to stop the litigations that were happening. Now, I know my personal view of this statement.
That's a play on words.
It's a play on words, but as the way I've been reading it from multiple different sources. Yeah, and also, guys, this was just, it said, hey, this is what we're thinking about doing. Umbrella, here's what it is. There is no meat on this statement yet whatsoever, right? Mm-hmm. However, this is one of those, and Rory even said it. Money is the root of all evils. Whoever's got the most money is going to play, right? And it's forcing his hands. I have 1,001 conspiracy theories behind the scenes here, right? How much is in Moneyhand's pocket, right? What are your thoughts?
I mean, at the end of the day, the statements they made in the beginning, you go to LIV, you're banned from the PGA Tour, I would have been willing to bet $1 million that wouldn't hold up 2 years down the road. I would have placed $1 billion and put a line of credit on it if I had that kind of line of credit and just cashed in today. There's no chance. There's no chance you can ban them.
You'd still be out of money, because even right now it states in the statements what they're saying is there is no path right now. They're going to discuss and see what it's going to be. I have a feeling, to your point.
Mark my words. Give it another year at most, and they're back on the tour. The ratings are way higher with those guys on there.
Here's how I think it's going to play out, because all those guys that take all that money had to sign a contract for X amount of years, right?
For X amount of events, though, doesn't mean they can't play the other events on the PGA Tour.
But there was a contract,
8 to 10 events, so it's
right. But it was a contract, though. It was still for a contract and a minimum amount of time. They just said that this is a framework. We haven't even this. It's still a long way before we iron out all the other nonsense. They've said 2023 isn't going to be touched, right? The rest of this season, and most likely into the next season. So there's already 3 years of most of these guys signed 5-year contracts. I think the stipulation to get back on the PGA, there is no more contracts. LIV gets absorbed, and then you're going to leave them out in the wind. They got their money. They did it for 5 years. They've created this new flux of income into, this new umbrella, right? And now you got to fight the battle of who gets to fight their way back on the tour. I think some people are going to get washed out. And I think that's why in the players' meeting Tuesday, emergency meeting Tuesday afternoon, you saw so many people standing up going, we want his head. We want the commissioner gone. They stood up stating his quote literally was, as long as I am the commissioner, no player who took LIV money will ever play in the PGA again. I think he'll hold to those words. Up to their contracts, up until LIV is absorbed and will be gone. I think they will create that same format under the PGA. They've already started to do that. They've already started to copy that format and stuff. So I think it's inevitable. I think it eventually will bounce.
It's going to end up being the same thing as the DP World Tour and any other tour where they can cross over. They may be a member of another tour, but they can cross over. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think it's funny. Like, go DJ, take that money, buddy. Like, I would have done the same thing. His comments when he's like, "So you're going to pay me more to work less?"
Yeah, and I think that model, the LIV model, is more of a professional league model. You know, having
it's like any other sport, right? Like basketball or football, or
yes, 100%. Exactly.
And you know what? I will before I even go here on that one. I'll take that statement. I agree with you, Derek. I go, but here's the same, and here's the age-old battle of everything else. It's the battle you're seeing all over the internet every freaking morning. Who's the GOAT, in basketball, right? Who this is and that, right? It changed it back to I'm going to show up and play for what I want to play and do. Do you play to your fullest and hardest? No, they got a contract. They're paid professionals, right? And they do it. Do you think? I said right now, the only person I can say I believe has playing for the love of golf and to truly be a champion is Brooks Koepka. You guys put it up the charts. You know what I'm saying? Like, he took the money, came back, almost won the what was the other major, won this last major. Like, he's standing to his statements in full swing. I play for championships. I play for the big events. I want to play for the Super Bowls. And he showed up at the last two majors, and he proved it. Right?
I think all of those guys. I mean, if you think about golfers are a different breed. So you think of all those guys; they're all playing to win, but they're all playing to make the cut too, right? On the PGA, because you get paid if you make the cut. Otherwise, you're paying to be there. So I think to your point, like the integrity of the game, and like that's what part of the beauty to the PGA is. You don't automatically get a paycheck, so you got to work your butt off, right?
True.
So that's something I respect about the PGA is like 100%. You have all these big contracts for football or basketball. They signed a 10-year, $100 million deal, and then he sucks next year and never does what he's going to do, and you're stuck with that. You always have to perform. So, but to Derek's point, I agree. What they're doing with LIV is more like a league, right? So,
all right. So let me ask you this question. Who won the XFL championship?
I have no idea. That league is irrelevant to me.
You literally just made my point.
Yeah. No idea. But
I mean, I don't watch NFL either. So,
but one other thing I want to say about LIV that I do like is the fact that everybody plays in all the tournaments because they only have 15, 20 tournaments. And that's one thing that I love the fact. What I love about the PGA is the fact that there's a tournament every single week. So if I want to watch golf, I can at least watch golf. Mm-hmm. What I hate about it is that with so many, of the weeks, the fields are tried. I don't know who anybody is. So what I like about LIV is the fact that I know I'm going to see everybody there when they have a tournament. And I have to admit, Memorial Day weekend, when you had the LIV tournament, the Harold Varner one, and the other tournament that the PGA had, I was watching the LIV tournament that weekend.
Really?
Yep.
You must like a lot of players over on the LIV tournament.
It was I
haven't watched the LIV tournament yet, but I would go to it if it was in my area.
Yeah. They had the music bumping on every hole. It was basically waste management.
and from a party perspective, 100%. I couldn't agree more. I've seen some clips from the LIV tournaments. They've finally allowed a few results to show up on ESPN, in some of their highlights, talking about it. It is definitely the waste management tournament tour, right? Yep. But watching some of it, they're not playing like they played on the PGA. I think they're most of them on that tour are playing their B game, if not C game at best.
I agree.
To be honest, though, like I would enjoy watching a bunch of amateurs with handicaps going against each other, because you could have a guy going into 18 with a 10-stroke lead and lose, and that would be comical to me, and I would actually watch that over the PGA. And then some miracle shot that they hit that they could never hit in a million years, like that would be funny when you see those memes where like, well, he's hitting 12 here, Joe, and nope, he's not out of the bunker yet, 13, 14, 15. Like that would make me laugh, and I would be entertained by that. So I don't know. I mean, I still applaud all those guys that went to LIV. I'm so excited for that.
I'm from the very beginning, and I said I go to each their own, right? If somebody put a $200 million check in front of me, guaranteed,
To do the same thing you're doing now,
100, I'd be gone, 100%. Would I probably be as entertaining as other things? No, I'd be sitting on 200 mil. I mean, I get where in Rory's statement, like his whole thing, and he said he felt like he was a sacrificial lamb, right? And this was one of the notes I wrote down. He said he was a huge sacrificial lamb. He put out there, he was trying to go for integrity, and then he had made a statement. He goes, "If you take me and pull me out of it, I think this is a great move for golf in its entirety. It's an influx of money. It's been on the hand." He goes, he even said it, which I found very, very unique, which brings up one of my questions I want to ask you guys here. He goes, who it's affecting are the names you're starting to see on the PGA Tour boards now. To Derek's point, who are they? Half of these names I don't even know, because half the field left. So the bottom, who have always been trying to break in, are finally breaking in. People that have fighting forever to win a tournament. Greg's Finu, and they finally pushed through because, to Derek's point, there isn't enough competition tournament over tournament to truly press the field. Greg?
I don't agree with that.
First of all, it's Finau. Tony Finau. Finau.
You tell him how it is.
Respect on his name. But yeah. Second of all, having some technical difficulties with the laptop, so I'm holding my phone right now. So I apologize for the shaky camera, all that good stuff.
You're all good.
Might back out here in a second and switch positions, get it on like a tripod or something. But I don't know, man. I haven't watched LIV at all. Like you guys said, seems like they're all out there with their B games, which, like, why wouldn't they be? Like, they're made men, right? Like, they're not fighting for anything. What's another $4 million when you got $200 million in the bank?
No, for no.
It's not, but here's the thing: is that the only reason XFL got a huge push, and the reason is because they rebranded it and said, "This is your stepping stone league for those that just didn't make it into the NFL. Come play here for a season or two, and you might punch your ticket into the NFL." They didn't pay him $200 million just to come hang around, as players. No, they made that to the washed-up players as coaches. That's what they did there. Ooh, we went and got so-and-so to come to be a coach to make these guys, to Rock's point, number 54, the guy who couldn't make the cut, right? These guys who went to LIV, they've made the cut. They're all major champions. They have so much players. Problem is, you have a lot of people over there that are on the other side of the hill, right? Go to the Champions Tour. Call it a day, because you're phoning in your game. You're phoning in the excitement for people wanting to watch. What they did, for that very reason that they're playing their B game, they turned it into the waste management. How much music can we get? How much booze can we get these guys doing and stuff on the side? They made it more party than they did golf.
Yeah, I mean, they even copied the 16th hole and they called it like the watering hole or something like that, and just made it literally the exact same layout.
There's nothing new to this game for that side here.
Yeah.
So, on the mergers, on the kind of it, it's not a LIV PGA Tour merger though. Here's what I find interesting, and what your guys' thought on this. Rory knew about it early Monday morning before the announcement was even put, because he's one of the players on the board or whatever. But that was his first hearing of it. What do you guys think of this here? Craig Norman, Mr. I'm going to go start the whole thing, had zero insight. And as of right now, from what they've stated in at least 15 different articles I've read on CNN, ESPN, like this, his job might be gone. What do you guys think of this move?
That was from the beginning. Like, if there was ever going to be anything with the PGA, he had to be gone. So I agree with that. He's probably going to be gone. He'll probably get paid a hefty sum of money to leave, but he's going to be gone.
Do you not think this is like, all right, great, we're going to put you out there to be a martyr, and then we're going to completely just dismantle you on the opposing side?
I mean, if you're going to want, like, if they offer him $200-300 million to walk away, cool. I'll go play at my country club.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about sacrificial lamb. Like, Greg Norman has tried to start leagues before. He just hasn't had infinite money backing him to start said league, right? So, like, they knew exactly the guy that they need to go get to start this league, who had that chip on his shoulder, that axe to grind with the PGA Tour. He was a means to an end for them. Like, they never cared if LIV actually worked. Now they've got their hands in actual golf, in PGA Tour golf, and they're good to go.
Yeah.
I agree.
Crazy.
Hey, David, can I cuss on this show? Stupid
Sure
question.
Absolutely.
All right, because I can't cuss on Pick 'em Pros.
That's what happens when your co-host is 13.
I know, right? Yeah, I mean, Greg Norman definitely sacrificial lamb. Bullshit that Rory McIlroy didn't know. He knew. That's why he was depressed about a month ago and was dropping out of tournaments, because he knew this was coming. So I don't believe for a second that Rory didn't know.
He said that there was conversations, right? He made that clear during his interview. He's like, no, I knew they were talking. I knew that they were trying to find, amicable grounds. But him, when they announced it, they said he got the phone call Monday night or whatever. He said, yeah, we'll talk in the morning. 6 a.m. in the morning, he goes, here's what it is. And he made that very clear on public stage in front of everyone. He goes, that is not what I knew what this thing was. This was new news to me. So I agree with you, Derek. With him being on the board with the other few players there, I think they are all aware. I mean, the amount of lawsuits and stuff that are going back and forth, I don't disagree. But I think he was surprised like everybody else. Because it's kind of one of those, if he knew it was going to go down on Tuesday, I don't know if he would have shown up to this tournament.
I mean, you have to assume that the PGA talked to all the golfers after everyone started fleeing for the money and said, hey, this is what we're doing. That's why they put those bans on. So as a PGA player, I'd be pretty pissed off. Like, no matter whether I barely made cuts or not, like, you're telling me that they're never able to come back, which now, like, to your point, guys that weren't making cuts because the field was better now making cuts. I'm pissed because you're going to start allowing them in. So, like, that's why I say bravo to DJ and all those guys that went, because at the end of the day, pay me more to work less, doing the same thing.
100%. Brilliant move for all those guys who took the money, went and did it. They were still playing golf. DJ made more than what he did in the entire year on the tour in his contracts, right? So, I mean, so most of those guys who signed would make more than probably ever would. I guarantee you the contract that Smith or whatever signed, he would never have seen that money, ever, in his career.
What do you think Tiger Woods thinks right now? The reported $800 million they offered him to go over, and he could still be doing both. And he can't even play. Like, he's injured. He got $800 million to just be a spokesperson over there.
I just think it's so gangster that he was in the position to turn down $1 billion.
Well, I mean, a lot of those guys were. A lot of those guys
I'm
were.
all right. I'm good.
Yeah.
Well, it's because he turned around. He also turned around and what do you call it? Started the league with Rory.
Rory.
WRW or yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
Right.
which is even funnier to me right now is I think there's a lot of Rory's. It's like, again, Rory is making good money. Don't get me wrong. He's won 23 times on tour, right? So he even made that statement. He goes, I don't know. I can't feel what those junior, ranked 80, ranked 100th and, on the PGA Tour or ever feel. He goes, I've never been in that position, which is kind of blowing his own horn in that regard as well. To say, hey, like I kind of feel why they were the ones timing up at the players meeting the heaviest, because you're right. This merger talk or whatever it is directly affecting, especially since you now have no cut tours, smaller field, events, and all these other events that so many people are guaranteed to come and have to show up at, which pushes even further out of making a living. So it's kind of like, I feel like they caused a problem. PIF is going to inject a bunch of money to help solve problems. I'm more concerned, and I want to see how much money has been put into the commissioner's pocket, because I don't think he got anywhere near
You
here.
never know.
I honestly think he walked up and said, "Hey, apparently you got about $1 billion hanging around. You were going to give Tiger. You want everybody?
For real.
Put it in my back pocket." I think we know who got Tiger's offer.
And why are they calling it PIF now? Why don't they continue calling it the Saudis like they were before? Now
Well,
it's
if I'm not mistaken,
Now it's a private investor fund.
right.
yeah. Guys, I mean, this has been great insight. So, give me your final thoughts here. Where do you see it landing? Like, let's say we're 2025. Where do you actually see this landing?
It's going to be like COVID. Everyone's going to forget about it.
Okay, fair enough. Derek?
Man, that's a great point. I like that take. Man, I'd have to say that it's the new model to where whatever the true pro golf league is going to be, 17 to 20 events a year. All the players play in it, and they've got guaranteed contracts. And the current PGA model is like the minor leagues, where guys are having to fight and make the cut and try to get in.
Greg,
I like that.
what are you kind of your final thoughts on the whole merger component together?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't know. I'm gonna forget about it here in a second. It's not gonna affect how I view it. My bad. I thought throwing these on would help the echo, and it probably made it worse. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna forget that the Saudis about golf, and I'm gonna watch anyway. It's gonna be a blip. But
where the money's coming from and
yeah,
who's backing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that it's not gonna be like a standing thing in my brain. It's just kind of something we think about right now, and 2 years from now, we won't think about it again. So.
All right. With that said, the last piece I brought up here, and I don't know if you guys saw this. I talked about it actually last week. Jack Nicklaus said, hey, F those guys, don't care, who, live who. And then very much this week, changed his own words. I think a lot of that Tiger money went into a lot of people's pockets if you can get the Golden Bear to change his words on the LIV players. So from the beginning of this conversation to now, I think LIV disappears. I think they find a new multiple level format of what golf is going to be. But again, it's going to be very, very much, money is the root of all evils, right? Whoever's got the most money is going to win, right? And they've pushed their way around for so long, and they keep on doing it. I mean, heck, look at gas prices, right? Last one, you guys ready for this? The filming couldn't be being done at a better time? They were. I think there was an article that said there was something like 37 cameras rolling Tuesday morning or something at practice events or something like that, all filming for Full Swing, that happened to catch multiple different people's reactions live when this information dropped. I think this is going to be just like the cliffhanger season finale of Rory's, F you, Phil, which turn around having to eat those words, big time. I think the full season 2 is going to be crazy. And a matter of fact, Greg, didn't you say there's something like they've already got content for like 47 episodes or something like that?
Oh yeah, I had to message you immediately. Like, dude, yeah, this is going to be like a 42 episode season. Like, obviously it's probably not going to be, but they've got content for it. Just this week, they've got 10 episodes. Like, just give me different guys reacting to this news for 10 episodes and then give me another season. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It'll be hilarious to see everybody. And just like, I am very intrigued on season 2. Should be a lot of fun.
That is awesome. All right, gentlemen, that's 30 minutes. That's the 19th hole. Duffers review. I appreciate you guys taking your time, bringing your insight. This was a big week in golf information coming out. I love every last one of you guys for jumping on. Derek, Greg, Kendall, always a blast having you guys here. Apart 2 cents. Ladies and gentlemen, please chime in. Hit us up every week. We'll be here for 30 minutes on what's in this week in golf with the Duffers. As you can see, the finest here. Catch the Pick 'em Pros and Duffers battle coming here soon. And we'll be going live
It's all done,
multiple events. Derek obviously has changed up the routine for Diego. He went from burgers to jump ropes. So they're obviously scared despite their TNT to creatives ultimate editing skills on the fly, playing with stuff today. That's okay. I'm not worried. Those guns are already in place for a reason, baby. They're already in place for a reason.
I got Pick 'em Pros by a landslide. You guys have to celebrate pars. You guys literally
I tell you right now,
pars.
the Pinehurst 6 is going to be the next
Didn't you know it's a 3-round event? It's going to be a scramble, best ball, and a worst ball.
Dude, if I took a shot for every par I got, I'd black out by the 16th hole. So, good for you guys, but not good for you guys.
Listen to this guy over here. Kendall, I can't. Is your foot better yet?
Oh yeah, my foot's great. Come on, let's go.
All right, we're gonna get the plane tickets ready. You're gonna watch your phone for some text message.
So I've already heard when he played golf. So I will agree with you. Like the first time I golfed with David with those rules, I was like, I was like birdie and 4 pars to start, and I'm like, can I spank these? Like I'll pay you $10 for a shot to not take them at this point. Like.
I love how these guys' games are all so great here on screen.
Oh no, I'm crappy, but
we're going to bring it to you live on camera. Gentlemen, have an awesome weekend. See you guys next week. Like, subscribe to all these guys' pages. We're out, guys.
Have a good one.